Everyone, Michelle here, personal trainer and lifestyle coach. Today we are here to talk about targeted tissue release with the use of a lacrosse ball. So we've already done a foam rolling tutorial. So this one is going to be a little bit more of hitting specific spots, and I will show you a few spots that everyone seems to be pretty tender in. So go ahead and follow along here. You can use a lacrosse ball, a tennis ball, a softball if you want to, or a golf ball if you want to, but those two are a little bit hard. Keep in mind that the harder the ball is, the more you're going to feel it and the more targeted it's going to be. So as long as you feel comfortable with it, you can use any other type of round object. I've even seen people use water bottles or frozen water bottles if you don't have any in your household. So those are all options as well. And we're going to work our way from the bottom to the top. And I'm going to show you again some of those targeted spots that everyone seems to need a little extra love in. So the first one that we're going to work on is going to be your feet. So I've got my lacrosse ball here, and the main part that you're going to want to hit is going to actually be the arch of your foot. So pretty simple. All we're going to do is put the ball underneath your foot, and we're running front to back on your foot. Now, when it comes to tissue work, it's pretty similar to stretching. There's not a ton of ways to do it wrong, right? If you feel like there is a spot that needs a little extra help, then go ahead and spend a little extra time on that spot. Be careful with injuries. Sometimes that can make things a little bit worse, but as long as you're feeling pretty good and you're just sore or a little bit tight, lacrosse ball rolling is going to be an amazing tool for you. So it's really, really great for recovery. It's also going to help you warm up and make sure that your muscles are really elastic when you go to use them. So right now we're rolling the bottom of the foot, focusing on the arch. And there are a couple other spots, hot spots we can hit on your foot. We can hit both the inside and the outside of the arch. Again, just kind of turning a little bit to hit those spots. Or you can even do some cross fiber work. So if you imagine that your muscles go straight up and down, we're going to take the lacrosse ball across those muscles to help to scrub them a little bit more. So we're going side to side there, doing both feet. And then of course you can do the ball of your foot and right underneath your toes. A lot of people have issues with being able to spread their toes out. So this is a really great way to help create a little bit more space in that area. Just curving your toes around the ball, and then again moving both up and down and side to side. All right, so next we're going to move our way to our lower body. Again, we're going to work from the bottom up, so we're going to focus on our calves first. There's a couple of different spots that most people are a little bit more tender, so we're going to hit each of those. The first is going to be ball on the inside of the muscular part of your calf. So if you feel kind of that muscle belly, we're going to go right on the inside. Place that leg on the ground, and we're going up and down, side to side, whatever feels good in that spot. If you want a little extra pressure on there, you can stack the secondary leg on top and push down to give it a little bit more weight. The second spot that a lot of people are pretty tender in is going to actually be on the outside of that calf. So again, belly of the muscle, left and top corner. This actually wraps around and affects your foot. So this is going to help us with both our foot and our calf flexibility. So turn your foot to the outside here, and we're hitting again that top corner. If you want a little extra weight, second foot on top and rolling into that area. Another spot that people are pretty tight is actually going to be right on the outside of your shin bone. You've got your tib anterior here. So what we're going to do is put the lacrosse ball on the ground. You're going to go onto your hands and knees, and then you're going to try and put it right on the outside of that shin. So we're here, leaning into it and working your way up and down. Again, this is a hot spot for a lot of people. Then we're going to work our way up the calf, or up the leg, excuse me, and there's a couple of hot spots into your quad that a lot of people are pretty tender. The first, we're going to hit your lateralis, which is going to be on the outside of your leg. So we're thinking about 45 degrees, kind of where it bulges out on the edge there. Putting that on the ground, trying to put the outside of that leg. I'll go ahead and show with my opposite leg. Right onto that ball and leaning slightly forward to make sure that we're hitting that corner. Right towards where the knee is. Next spot is going to be right on the inside. So this is your vastus medialis. This is responsible for knee extension. So a lot of people, again, are pretty tight here. Right above the knee, kind of bulges out a little bit too right at the top. We're going to go to the inside, Put it on the inside on the ground. And this one, you'll kind of go side to side since your leg is out to the side. And again, no spot is the wrong spot. If you feel like you need a little extra space there, or if you feel like you need a little extra work there, then you can go ahead and do it there. Next, we're gonna move our way up a little bit higher into our hip flexors themselves, lying on top of the ball and putting it almost exactly in your crease, but a little bit lower, and working our way up and down. This is usually tight for people that sit for a living or that stand stationary for long periods of time. Then we're gonna go ahead and hit your hamstrings. So there's a lot of different places on your hamstring you can hit, but again, that hot spot is gonna be right underneath your glute. So we're gonna try and hit right underneath the glute toward the middle of the hamstring, and working our way both up and down, and again, scrubbing side to side. Our outer glute is pretty sensitive on a lot of people, so that glute med, going for that 45-degree angle. You're gonna sit on top of it, bend that knee to the inside, other leg on top to help, and just rolling up and down there. Awesome. And then a lot of people are pretty tight in their IT band and their TFL. You can hit those too, but they are a little bit harsh with the lacrosse ball on the ground. So you might want to do it on a wall or something like that. The next place that I'm going to show you is actually going to be your lower back. So we're trying to get right here, your QL, right next to your spine. You're going to lie on top of the lacrosse ball and then kind of use your elbows to help give you leverage going up and down. If you have a peanut roller, these things are amazing. Basically 2 lacrosse balls stuck together. You can make this yourself with lacrosse balls and some duct tape, but these are really great for getting both sides of that lower back at the same time, and you can put as much pressure into it as you need. Next, I'm going to show you a few upper body movements for the lacrosse ball. You can do them on the ground, but again, it's a little sensitive, so most people are going to want to do them standing, and that's what we're going to show you next. All right, so for our upper body, you're going to want, again, your lacrosse ball, and then a wall would work, but a door frame or a pole would work better. So this one is a little bit thin for this. I would suggest probably using a larger power rack, a couple of inches if you'd like. That way you can move a little bit more side to side without actually having the lacrosse ball fall off. That still happens no matter what, so don't be embarrassed if it does. So what we're gonna do is work our way from our front all the way to our back. We're going to work onto our pecs first. Now there are 3 main spots that a lot of people are pretty sensitive. Right up into your pec minor, so try and get as close as you can to that shoulder, kind of on the outer perimeter of that pec, and then right underneath the collarbone. So we make a little triangle and we're going to hit all 3 of those spots. So you're going to take your lacrosse ball, put it a little bit low so you've got some leverage. You're going to kind of lean into it. We'll start with our collarbone first. So right underneath that collarbone, we're going side to side. You can hold on to it a little bit lightly with that second hand if you'd like, just to make sure that it doesn't pop out. Then we're going to hit up into that corner again. For this one in particular, I really like to open up the arm so that we're nice and open in that pec. And rolling up, down, side to side, whatever feels good. And then right on the outside. Now we kind of talked about scrubbing with the lower body in terms of going the cross direction of the fibers of your muscle. So what we can do as well is we can actually pin the ball itself and move the muscles around that ball. If you think like a deep tissue massage with an elbow, that's basically what we're doing. So what we're gonna do is pick our favorite spot on the pec, or your least favorite depending how much pain you like to tolerate. So you're gonna go ahead and grab what spot feels like it needs a little more help, pin it into that spot, and you're not gonna actually move your chest, but what you're gonna do is move your arm. So now we're moving the arm up to down, side to side, whatever you feel like you need in order to be able to get those muscles to push into that lacrosse ball. Awesome. Next, we're gonna go ahead and move on to our traps. So for our traps, you'll actually want to be down a little bit lower so you have more leverage. We're going to stick it right up on top of those shoulders, and we're going side to side. This one's a little hard to go up and down just because it's so thin. So I would suggest mostly side to side. You can do a little up to down if it feels good. So you're going to put the ball on the pole, door frame, whatever you have. We're pushing in here until your back's almost parallel with the ground, And then we're going side to side and stretching out that. I'll show you from both directions. Here, pushing into that trap and working your way side to side. Awesome. Same thing there. You can pin it and go up and down with that arm to help scrub those muscles against the lacrosse ball. The next spot we're going to hit is actually going to be your back. So what we're trying to go for is right in between the shoulder blades and your spine. This is a pretty thin canal, so if you want to create a little extra space, you can take your arm and kind of round it in front. That's going to give you more space between those two spots. So for this one, again, you'll want to be pretty low. You can stick it on your back, bend your knees and put it onto the pole. And then once you've got it in the right spot, up and down from there. I've also seen people, really smart, put it into a long sock or a stocking and just kind of flop it over their backs. So I thought that was a really great way of getting it into that spot as well. Same thing there. Once you have it in your spot, then you can go up and down with that arm and kind of scrub that muscle against the ball. Our last spot that we're going to hit is going to be your lats themselves. So it's going to be right underneath your armpit, basically, along that scapular border. Arm is above your head. We're going to go right here. It's a little further back than when we hit on your pecs. And then you're just going to try and go up and down and hit the inside border of that scapula. All right. So again, take your time in each of those spots. Feel what you feel like you need the most and work your way around it. You can use the lacrosse ball or any other similar apparatus. And hopefully this will help you get loosened up and recover a little bit better. Thanks so much, guys.